Hi everybody, Sade here, the cultural activist. Welcome back to another episode of Fortify the City. I appreciate you. Today, like I told you guys last week, you're breathing, bro. You know what? Let me mute you real quick. I'll mute you. I'll do it
Do
again. I'll do it again. Hi, friends. This is Sade, the cultural activist. Welcome to another episode of Fortify the City. I am so grateful to have you here today, especially today because we have a guest. His name is London McFadden, good friend of mine, stock expert, counselor of many things. He will be talking to us about stocking up. So today's episode is actually entitled Stocking Up on Fortify the City, where we basically talk about the different ways and means and methods of preparing for the unknown. You know what I mean? Especially in today's world where everything is just changing every day. There's so much unknown with regards to the Rona and the vaccine and people losing their jobs due to mandates, just different issues that we've been running into over the last 2 years or so. I thought it would be great to bring him on to talk about stocks, the basics of stocks, the different ways in which we can stock up, build on our stock portfolios if we have one, and teach us how to build on those portfolios if we don't have one and we're thinking about starting one. He's even going to give us a case study on how we should approach the stock market, because another form of income is always great, especially in these times. So join me in welcoming my friend London McFadden in London. Hi.
Hey, how you doing, Sha?
I am so grateful to have you here today, London. Tell the people what's up. Tell the people what's up.
Hello, everyone. I would first and foremost like to thank Sade for having me on this episode of Stocking Up. I'm excited to, tell everyone how I first started into investing and where I'm at the moment.
Great, great. I'm sure everyone's glad to hear it. I feel like the last couple of years there's been so much happening, and everyone saw that boost. When was that? Was that 2020 or the beginning of 2021 where everyone was coming up on stocks? I think it was 2021. Yeah, it was beginning of this year where
Yeah,
everyone was
February.
February. See, you know better than I. Everybody I know was coming up in the stock game and really generating and building on their portfolio. So I figured, why not grace the people with some information, some basic understanding, and even a case study on how to really take advantage of the stock market, right? Because that's what it's there for, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna let you get yourself figured out while we get ourselves figured out too over here. Um, all right, London. So, how about this? Let's start off with you just introducing yourself. Tell the people who you are, your background. When people speak of their track records, right? What is your track record, so to speak?
Well, my name is London McFadden, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. Um, growing up, I was real into like sports, skateboarding, basketball, football. And a lot of people know me for skateboarding. I used to skate, Union Square Park, LES. But, unfortunately, I got injured, so I stopped skateboarding. But my friends, peers know me for, designing and also screenwriting. I write different genres as far as like comedy, horror, and drama. So yeah, more than likely, people that don't really know me or not really familiar with me only know me through stocks, and that's pretty much it. But friends and family know me for other things.
Cool. Yeah, I know you for other things. I Let me tell you, I had no idea that you were the stock guru that you are. Like, I've known you for quite some time now. Like, it's been a couple of years. What,
Yes,
2010? That's yeah,
20, 2011, 2011.
2011. Okay.
Yeah.
10 years. That's enough. And I had no idea that you were in stocks or involved in stocks, or that you were even great at it. So, you know what? Let's get right into that part. When did you get into stocks? Because, like I said, I didn't know. No clue.
I got into stocks. Well, I first got introduced to stocks back in 2003 when I attended school at Pace University in the city. One of my friends, his name was Omar, and I remember he was in my psychology class and he approached me and said, "Hey, I invested in Coca-Cola. I think you should." And, that's foreign to me because I think I was 20 years old at the time and I didn't have any money. I wasn't working. So I was like, okay, Omar, congratulations. It went out one ear, out the other. Like, and he was like, no, you should do it. You should do it. I said, no, thanks. So that was back in 2003. But he also told me about ATM machines that he invested in. And that's something I, took from him and pretty much told my mom and dad. And I think a year later, that's when we invested in our first ATM machine. So I really started doing stocks back in 2008.
Okay.
That's when I first, invested into stocks.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
interesting. I had no idea. I thought I knew you, London. I thought I knew you.
you know.
We learn something new every day, though. It's fine. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, getting into the science of buying and selling stocks, right? So,
Hmm.
my understanding is timing is everything when it comes to this thing.
Correct.
What
So,
is the best time to jump on a stock, to jump into, that whole market of buying and selling?
Um, I would say, depending on which stocks you're trying to invest in, whether it's big board stocks or penny stocks, I always tell people the best time to like invest in a company is if a catalyst drops, if the like CEO drop a catalyst or a merger or a PR, because that means the stock price is going to go up. So, prime example, let's say Tesla sold 6,000 cars in a month of September. When the report come out in October, the price is going to jump. So I always tell people that's when you should invest. So let's say if Tesla only sold 1,500 cars, 9 out of 10, the price is not going to go up. So I tell people to do that. Also, look at the market cap. A lot of people don't pay attention to the market cap. If the market cap is over $1 billion, that's a good company to invest in. If the market cap is under, let's say, 200 million, it's no traction. So don't waste your money on those type of companies. Always look at the market cap. That's very important when you invested in new companies.
Okay. Really quickly, though, for stock dummies like me,
You're not a
what is
dummy,
a
Shadow.
market? Well, I said a stock dummy. I know I'm not a dummy, but I
Yeah.
appreciate you. Um, what is a market cap? It's exactly.
A market cap is pretty much a company where, let's say, if 100 million people invested into Nike, quite frankly, that market cap is gonna, be huge because so many people is investing in one company. Nike is global, it's international. A small company would probably be, under, $20 million. And small market caps is never good. Those are the companies that's starting out. Those are beginners. If you see any companies that's over 500 million, 1 billion, those are the companies you should, focus on and pay attention to because you could see a nice return profit depending on how you invest. I don't really invest in the small companies like that because it's going to take a long time for you to see a nice return.
Okay.
So if you into like flipping, focus on big companies. But if you more for the long term, invest into small companies with a smaller market cap.
Okay, so that actually makes a lot of sense to me. So when you speak of, these big companies, right? Is that does that speak to like the hot like a hot commodity? What makes a stock a hot commodity? Is it the market cap being that large number or is it something else?
No, it's the market cap is very important. And you also got to look at companies like Nike. Every time you go outside, you see people wearing Nikes, whether it's Jordans, Dunks. It's something global. So that's what make a company very, hot.
Okay.
If you don't see people wearing Nikes, that means the company took a drop or a loss. So I always tell people, focus on companies that everyone is into. When you look at Uber, Uber is everywhere. You got Uber Eats. Uber is pretty much like the number one delivering service. It's like Uber and Seamless. So you want to invest into those type of companies because everyone use Uber. It's an asset. So if a company is an asset, 9 out of 10, that's a good investment to make.
Okay. Thank you for that. All right. So, what are some key concepts or tips that one who is learning or seeking to learn about this stocking up stuff? What are some of those like the basic pieces of information that we should know about? Whether it's charts or the term bullish, and what tips that we should be mindful of when researching or looking into buying a stock or selling a stock.
Well, that all depends. If you into core options, I tell people if you invest in core options, do big board stocks. But like tips that new beginners need to, know is always buy stocks on Tuesdays and Fridays. Those are the only 2 days out the week people should invest. Because we call Tuesday Bloody Tuesday. Every Tuesday you see red, literally. Most companies are red. Most companies are red on Friday because people is selling their shares. But some people want to have fun, party, travel. So sometimes they'll flip they stock company shares and just sell. So most of the time the prices drop. So those are the only 2 days I would tell people to like, buy shares. And I would say another tip would be um, always buy the dip. The dip is very important. But I always tell people if a stock company is like trending up, if the prices is going up, you should jump in.
Okay.
Some people would lose their opportunity because they would say, "Oh, Nike is at $62. I'm gonna wait because it's expensive." A week later, Nike might shoot up to $80. Then you lost a little profit because if you would have jumped in when it was at 62, depending on how many shares you would have bought, you would have seen a nice profit. So those like the two key components that's very important.
Okay, that's valuable. Thank you very much. Um, so for beginners like me, right? What's the best approach to getting our feet wet when stocking up? Should we like deal with mostly penny stocks, common stocks, small caps? What's the best approach?
Me personally, I tell people to invest in penny stocks
And what are penny
because
stocks?
okay, so you have delisted companies and you have listed companies. Delisted companies are penny stocks, which is OTC. OTC stand for over the counter. So I don't know if you've seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street with
Not
Leonardo
entirely.
DiCaprio.
Not entirely, no.
Oh, okay. Well, when you get a chance, you should check that movie out. And that's the reason why I really started investing in penny stocks. So let's say you invest in a new company and the price is 0.0002. If you buy a million shares at that price point, it's only going to cost you $400 for a million shares. So if you buy 2 million shares, 800, 3 million shares, 1,200. So the goal when it comes to penny stocks for the company price to hit a nickel, dime, quarter, 50 cent, 75 cent, jackpot, a dollar. So let's say if you bought 5 million shares and let's say the price hit 9 cents, you just literally made over 100K and you only invested like 2,100. So it's a quick return. You can't do that with big companies like Nike, Tesla, Neo, Snapchat, Uber, Verizon. You just can't do that because the price point starts at like $20 for one share. With penny stocks, you can buy 50 million shares for 20K, and if it hit 8 cent, 9 cent, 22 cent, you could easily make over $1 million in a span of a month or under a month, depending on if the penny stock price is just shooting through the roof. And I always tell people, people get impatient when it comes to penny stocks, because they always say, "Yo, line, like the price is not going up," and I'm like, "You just got to be patient, because when it comes to penny stocks, it's all about it's a list of things that got to happen so the price could go up. The company got to be a pink current company. So pink current means the company is legit,
Okay.
very legit. Then like mergers have to happen. A collaboration have to happen with the penny stock and another company. So you have to look for those key factors when you invest in penny stocks. But it's a quick flip, and if you know how to flip, once the price go up, you can sell, wait for the price to drop, then buy again when the price drops low. So that's what I do. I sell, buy back, sell, buy back. So that's the difference. And most OTC penny stocks, they try to go to NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, because that's the ultimate goal. That's the end goal for them. Because they want to get listed on Robinhood.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the difference between penny stocks and big board companies.
Okay. So for people like me who I'm super, super like scary when investing in stocks, I'm not necessarily the person who will just spend $500 or, even
Hmm.
$200 sometimes. So what would you say? What would be your piece of advice for someone like me and they're buying into one of these penny stocks? Okay. Instead of thinking the dollar amount, what's the minimum of stock, like the minimum stock number that I should seek or pursue? Is it 1 million, 500?
I would say you know your budget better than anyone. But if I tell anyone to like buy penny stocks, always buy millions of shares.
Okay.
Because the end goal is you want to be rich. I think that should be the goal in life. And I always tell people, a lot of people is frugal when it comes to money. And understandable, we in, some troubling times right now, and you know why. But let's say if you have $200 and I say, Sade, let's go out to dinner. Okay, I just spent $200 on dinner, drinks, and Uber. I can't get that $200 back.
True.
I would tell people take that 200 and just invest in penny stocks. Because I always tell people you don't lose what you don't sell. So if you don't sell, your shares, and let's say the price drop, that's common. Because I always tell people if every company price go up, we all be rich. Everyone be rich. The higher up is not going to allow that. It's not going to happen. So if a price go down, just know it's going to go up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like if the price go down, they're going to say, "Give me all your shares, Sade." No. If you buy 25 million shares, you're going to still have the 25 million shares. So I always tell people if you have money to play around with, $200 here, $300 there, because a lot of people we like to go shopping. We might spend 250 on a pair of shoes. So I look at things differently because I used to be a huge gambler. Like me and my best friend Monique, we used to go to Vegas and just gamble, play, blackjack nonstop. And I was like, that's useless. I'm not going to do that no more. I just invest. So that's where my mindset and mentality is at. If you have $100, put it into penny stocks. $50, invest in penny stocks. $25, do the same thing.
Okay, okay, and build up on that if you can, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, that makes sense. That's what I've been doing. Well, since talking to you, that's what I've been doing. So thank you. And it's been working. I
Hmm.
made $45 recently on a particular stock. I mean, $45
Congratulations.
is nothing compared to what some people are making, but it was a victory for me. So,
Listen, hey, that $45 is going to turn to $100, 100 to 250.
exactly. So, okay. So, what is the biggest mistake that you would say some people tend to make when it comes to stocking up?
Well, let me speak for myself. I lost a lot of money in the beginning, in the beginning stages. I was just being reckless, wasn't listening to, people that, you know, knew stocks. I was just doing my own thing. So, prime example, At the time, I thought when a company price go up, that's the best time to buy.
Okay.
And I kept doing that. And I was looking at my return. I was like, wait a second. If the price is going up, why my gains is not equivalent to the price going up? So when I used to do, so let's say if I invested in Snapchat and Snapchat was $80 and next week 150, I used to keep buying and it was messing up my average cost. So let's say if I bought Nike at $65, that's my average cost.
Okay.
Then let's say if I bought again when Nike was at $200, my average cost would literally go up and I'm losing money that way. So that was one of my biggest mistakes.
Okay.
Also, another mistake I made being impatient, very impatient. I noticed every time I used to sell a company, that's when the price go up. And I used to sit on companies for like 8 months, like, wow, like it's no price movement. What's going on? You know what? Let me just sell. A week later, it shoot up
Mm-hmm.
to 7 cents. So I always tell people you got to have patience when it comes to investing. And those was like my two key mistakes I used to make. I made those mistakes for over a year, lost way too much money. So then I just got seasoned along. And, I used to do my own due diligence, my own research. And I was like, okay, I see the mistakes I was making. And I pretty much rectified everything.
Nice. So now you have your method, your routine that you kind of stick to, and it's been working for you.
Yes. Yes. Since I think the last time I like really lost a lot of money was probably we in what 2021. I would say like 2013, 2014, around that time. Ever since then, it was just I wasn't like, losing any money. I was always gaining profits.
I'm rolling my eyes at you talking about 2013 because we was rolling together around that time, and I had
I
no idea that you was
listen.
doing this stuff. You did not put me on, London. You used to put me on a lot of things, and this was one of them that you was holding
I
out. I'm calling you out, friend.
wait. I tell you about the ATM machines.
You did tell me about the ATM machines. You're absolutely
Oh,
right. You
yes.
did. You're right.
And one thing about stocks, some people don't really care for stocks like that. And remember, at that time, I was making money, but I wasn't making the money I'm making today. It's like on another level today. Back then, I was cool with making $2,000 here, 1,500 there. So I wasn't making that much money. I think when the pandemic happened, that's when I shift gears
Okay.
and I just took off with the
Okay.
penny stocks.
So what when you say you shifted gears, what was the difference between then and now?
Okay, well, back in like 2012, 2013, I didn't really have my mind set on making $1 million. I was content with making a small amount. Okay, I can make $3,000 here. Cool, I could pay my rent. I have other expenses I could pay. I could buy some sneakers. I could travel. So, and back then I was younger. I'm 37 now. So I wasn't really adamant about, okay, my goal, my mission is to make a quarter million here, half a million here, $1 million here. When a pandemic happened and I seen how the world was going, I was like, okay, a lot of people was losing their jobs. I have 7 brothers, I have a lot of nieces, nephews.
It's time to
I,
stock up.
it's time to stock up. So that was the goal because I'm like, I take care of my younger brother, and I was like, he lost his job, so I was like, okay, now I really gotta like turn up, and I really started to like focus,
Okay.
and that's what happened. So my mind frame changed when the pandemic happened.
Okay, I understand that. And you're right. I mean, all this all speaks to fortifying the city, right? Preparing for the unknown
Hmm.
and what's ahead. So I get that, and you're right. I feel like not I feel like it's a fact. Our mindset does change when circumstances around us changes. So, okay, kudos to you. And I'm glad that you wisened up, because now you're about to help me wisen up and everybody else. So,
Yes.
let's talk profit and growth. All right.
Hmm.
How does one profit and grow their portfolio once, they get this thing started?
So I always tell people to diversify your portfolio. That's very important. So let's say,
Meaning,
okay, for me, I have Robinhood for crypto, literally only crypto. TD Ameritrade is for penny stocks. So when I say diversify your portfolio, I would say, look, Sade, I'm going to need for you to invest in cannabis, marijuana stocks. I'm going to need for you to invest in solar stocks. I'm going to need for you to invest in gold. I'm going to need for you to invest in EV, electric vehicles, NEO, Tesla. Because I always tell people, if you diversify your portfolio, that's how you can make money. Because let's say if you say, look, Lon, I just want to focus on marijuana stocks. I say, okay. But just know over here, the gold, the EV stocks, they bubbling. People are buying, people are investing in those companies. So you're going to miss out on a lot of money if you just focus on one particular, stock company. So I always tell people, mix it around. Always buy crypto. Crypto is the future
okay.
because banks can't regulate crypto. The federal can't regulate crypto. Crypto is different. And this is why, the administration is trying to, monitor, our bank account and seeing when money coming and when money is going out because they realize people made millions of dollars off the crypto. Prime example, Dogecoin. And they couldn't do nothing with that. They was like, wait a second, you got people making $10 million off a meme crypto coin? You know what? We want that money too. We need a part of that. So that's why it's trying to stricken
Mm-hmm.
where, folks like us is receiving money and where the money is coming and where the money is going.
Right. I was actually gonna lean into that, but you already kind of said it. Where as far as Bitcoin and crypto and things like that,
Hmm.
how they're trying to regulate the way that they are and what that looks like for the future.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts on it?
Well, like I said, they can't regulate crypto. They just can't. They could try it, all types of methods. It's not going to work. Now they could regulate, you know, the New York Stock Exchange and Nasdaq. They could manipulate that, and that's what's going on currently. The MMs, meaning the market makers, they are manipulating the stock market,
Wow.
and the administration is the cause of that. I'm not going to say the person name, but you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. Yes,
When the other guy was in office, and you know who the other guy was,
I do.
we was making a killing, literally. I don't think you understand. We listen. I used to be in my bed looking at my phone like, whew, wow, this is amazing. My mother used to text me. I'm like, I know, mom, I know. As soon as the new guy came in office, we lose money.
Yeah.
And also, remember what took place in February with GameStop and AMC, that big squeeze happened. That's when they really got strict. They said, wait a second. You got people making millions off of GameStop and AMC? We shutting this down. So from February to August, it was red. It was days I was making money, but it wasn't consistently how it was when the other guy was in office.
Right.
So yeah.
I hear you on that. Okay. All right. So let's do a quick case study.
Hmm.
All of this information that you just shared and blessed us with is great, and I've learned so much just in this time frame that we've been talking about it. But let's do a quick case study, right? Give us an
Hmm.
example of a particular past stock in which you were made aware of It was a good move. What were your steps before buying, before getting involved, up until getting involved, up until maybe selling? Like, what were the steps that you would take in order to make a profit?
Okay, so I'm gonna let you in on a little secret because I rocks with you
I appreciate you. I
and
appreciate you.
and your fan base.
Thank you so
So
much.
when it comes to penny stocks, it's a collective group effort. With big boy stocks, it's not.
Okay.
So let's say I say, Sade, I want you to invest in NECA. You know what, Sade? I need for you to reach out to all your cousins, your friends. Tell them to invest in NECA. And what people do when it comes to penny stocks, we will have rooms of thousands of people. And we would notify people. I would send a group, blast and say, Sade, buy 5 million shares of NECA. And the whole group is doing that. Guess what happens when we do that?
What?
The price go up.
Mm,
So if it's thousands of people buying 10 million shares here, 11 million shares, 30 million shares, the price is going to go up. I say, look, Sean, remember, the market closed at 4 p.m. So we're going to have to notify the group around 3:30, right before the market closed, and dump your shares. So you can make your money, you get in, you get out. So it's a lot of those type of activities that goes on in the OTC market.
okay.
That's why people always say, it's risky, but you can make millions of dollars in a couple of weeks, 2 months, 6 months. So it's always a group. So when it comes to OTC, it's this it's this terminology called pump and dump. You can't do that with companies like Tesla and NECA. Why? Because the price is too expensive.
Right.
With penny stocks, I could pump a penny stock, be like, yeah, yo, this gonna be the next Neo, and everyone is jumping on board, and they buying. And once you see the price shoot up, I'll be like, all right, Sade, we're gonna take our gains and we out of here. And sometimes those people might take a loss
Okay.
because they not familiar with us dumping our shares. Because it's not like we're going to notify them and say, hey, group, especially if we don't know them. If they strangers, we're not going to notify strangers and tell them we dumping at 3:30. We tell our friends and our peers, like, look, if you comfortable with what you made for the day, dump your shares. So that's the focus when it comes to OTC. And another thing, I always tell people when it comes to penny stocks, people don't know we could hit up the CEOs and have a dialogue with them.
Oh, wow.
You can't do that with big boy stocks.
True.
They would literally, first of all, you can't even get the CEO email. It's not going to happen. But with these penny stocks, I could hit up such and such and he'll write back. He'll say, yeah, Lon, we're going to try to release the PR in the next 2, 3 weeks. So when the CEO lets me know that, guess what I do in that time span? I load up on shares.
Okay.
So as soon as he released that PR, price go. It's jump. And I'll be set because I'll be like, okay, well, I got 8 million shares here. So as soon as the CEO release, I'm going to make my profit. I'm going to sell and move on to the next penny stocks.
That sounds simple enough, honestly.
Yeah.
For me, when delving into this stuff, I was getting a headache. Like, I didn't
Hmm.
understand what I was looking at. I'm trying to study and learn to read charts and things like that. Would you say that learning charts is important when dealing
Very,
with this stuff too?
yeah. When it comes to any stock companies, reading charts is very important because you that lets you know where the company is heading towards. If the
Okay.
chart is below, that's never good. If the chart is like midway, and let's say you see the arrow and you see them lines that's going up, that's a good sign where the company is going.
Okay.
And you ain't gonna lose money that way.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. All right. One last question before we get out of here because we're over the
Hmm.
30-minute mark, and I definitely want you to come back. I think the people need you to come back. I need you to come back because there's a few things that you touched on today that I think we would all be really, really grateful and totally, totally beneficial for
Hmm.
you to elaborate on. But I'm not even gonna indulge in that right now. But what is the next stock that we should be looking at right now, that we should be doing our due diligence and researching right now, and possibly even putting our money into, if you can name one?
Uh, well, it's this penny stock company called AFZL. It's about to take. It's a cannabis penny stock. It's about to take over, and the price is at 0.0021.
Okay.
And it's anything under 1 cent is an investment. Sometimes I tell people if a penny, company is above 2 cent, 3 cent, it's very expensive. It's very expensive. So anything under 1 cent, you should invest. That's the next penny stock that I have my eyes set on. At the
Okay.
moment, I'm buying shares up right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I would say that company, it's another company, it's HBRM. It's a Japanese penny stock company, and they pretty much did deals with Rite Aid, Walgreens, Pathmark, and they PR is about to release, everything. So that's another company I'm currently buying shares as well.
Nice. Nice. All
And
right.
also, when you buy penny stocks, don't get Fidelity because Fidelity, they very selective when it comes to OTC shares. So when it comes to TD Ameritrade, they have everything except for crypto.
Okay.
So yeah.
And you said you get crypto from where?
Robinhood,
Robinhood. Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I like I said before, I want us to indulge and elaborate on some of these other topics. You mentioned crypto, and we talked
Hmm.
about Bitcoin, and even talking about like the different platforms that we should be delving in when going into buying stock and things like that. I want us to again come back at another time, a later date, to discuss that. I think the people will be, like I said, blessed by it. I was blessed by today's conversation alone. Like, I'm about to go back and review all my notes. Today's Friday, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really, really want to welcome you back. I really loved this conversation. You have blessed me immensely, and I'm pretty sure those who will hear and listen will also be able to take from it too.
Hmm.
You guys, I need you guys to do me a now. While me and London are here with you, subscribe, leave a comment, ask some questions. You know what I'm saying? Post your questions, because I get that some of this can be a lot. Even though he was very clear to me, it may not be clear to all. So if you have questions, if you have, you know, stock particular questions, or just on how to do this, the basics, or whatever the case may be, share your questions, reach out to him, let him know how you feel, or what's really good, as far as how to move about in this whole stock market world, because it's definitely a different world, but we are living in a different world, so we have to learn how to maneuver and be able to survive. What? Survival of the fittest. So let's survive. Let's fortify the city, fortify your household, fortify your income, fortify it all by stocking up. So, with all that said, London,
Hey.
how can the people reach you?
Oh, my IG is London M34. My email is london.m1984 at gmail.com.
Right, and
So,
he's a stock expert, like I said. And I heard that you have like a, what do you have, like I saw somewhere that you had like a link, like with stock advice or something like
oh,
that.
yes, I'm a stock consultant.
Oh, nice,
So,
nice.
yes, the link is in my bio on my IG page.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, check them out, you guys. That's it for us today. Again, I just want to encourage you to leave us a thumbs up, a thumbs down, subscribe, hit the bell notification, reach out to us, let us know how you feel, post your questions. Like I said, he will be back at a later date. But depending on the questions, we may have him back sooner than later. So, yeah, let's talk about it. But That's all. Have a good day, y'all. Say bye, London. Say bye.
Later, everyone.
Thanks for hanging with us. Appreciate you.
Anytime.